Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Season 8, Episode 21. I'm just going to say right off the bat, this is being recorded early, due to the Australian leaks, which have been obscene this season. Seriously, mostly for the second half of the season. Like, there were episodes being leaked before the hiatus even ended, and now they're being leaked again, like, weeks and weeks in advance. Like, episode 19 hasn't even come out, and episodes 20 and 21 were already leaked here, and then in Australia, and then apparently episodes 23 through the finale were also already leaked in the Dutch. Unfortunately, that is in another language, so I can't like record my reactions yet. I have to wait for the Australian leaks to catch up. But that's freaking ridiculous that they're leaking them this early, weeks and weeks in advance. And I've already gone through all of that in another video, but it's just like, it's getting annoying at this point. The MLP staff really need to put an end to this. For when next season comes, they need to make it so that episodes can't be leaked. They should make it so that other countries cannot air the episodes earlier than Canada and America. Because again, that's the official main countries of the show. That's their focused target for it, and it's like, they should always have the first airings. I don't know, it irritates the hell out of me. But either way, so I know nothing about these episodes, which is why I'm getting to recording them early, of course, to avoid the spoilers. I don't know what they're about, who they're about. I don't know really anything. Title, writer, yeah. So there's not much else to say, so we're just going to get this started. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we will begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So Season 8 has had a plethora of great episodes. There was the premiere School Days. We had Fake It Till You Make It, The Parent Map, Meltdown, Heartswarming Club, and even Friendship University, and of course, On the Road to Friendship was phenomenal. So this season's been doing an excellent job with a lot of its episodes. Not every episode has hit it out of the park, and there have been some bad ones, but there have been some amazing ones too. And honestly, this one kind of tops them out. This was easily one of the best episodes of the season. And I'm amazed at how good it was. Like, when this first started, when I first saw it, it's like, oh, this is going to be Rockhoof then. And him, I guess, trying to fit into the world and everything. It's like, my thoughts at that time were like, okay, this could be good, but I don't think it's going to be anything, like, phenomenal. Then as it started to go along, and I started to see how it was really properly handling the story, as I said in the during the reaction, that it was handling that kind of concept well, the entire concept of the fish out of water story. It's been done to death, and really at this point, it just depends on if the story is done well or not. And it was being handled very excellently. All of the problems caused were just because of misunderstandings of how the culture in Equestria is at this point. And he was trying to do good, but it was just simple mistakes. Nothing came out of stupidity either. A lot of these fish out of water stories, a lot of the issues are caused by the character kind of ending up being just completely stupid. But that wasn't the case here. So it was handled in a really well way. The pacing was great. And so I'm starting to think, okay, this is actually a pretty great episode. I'm really liking this. But I'm still at that point thinking, like, okay, this is a great episode, but it's not necessarily one of the best. It's really freaking good. But I don't know if I'd consider it one of the top episodes of the season. And then the Yona part came in. And it's not only that it happened, because it was built up really well throughout the episode when you look back on it. The entire part where Yona really starts to get into his lessons and his just how he is, it was really cute. And I'm thinking, like, okay, that's cute and all, and we're seeing how she's really liking how he just is, basically. And it's like, that's cute and all, but I wasn't, like, putting together that this was, like, leading to something necessarily. But then it did. It's like he's about to turn to stone, and I'm going to get to that in a second, but he's about to be turned to stone, and Yona comes to basically save him. And she's telling him that he's her hero. And that she doesn't want him to turn to stone, that she doesn't want him to go. And it was really sweet and heartbreaking to see her have to do that, and to see him still kind of insistent on it. Just, Yona's been one of my favorites of these students since their introduction. She's really cute, she's really fun, I love her personality, she's just a fantastically entertaining character. And it's like, they do so much to make her so lovable. Like, she's not necessarily the best developed or characterized of the group, but she's just the most lovable. Like, everything she does, everything she says is just so, like, you just can't help but fall in love with her. I don't know any other way to put it. And so when she does something like this, it's like, she's not just being cute, she's not just being her fun, destructive self. She's being vulnerable. She's letting her guard down. And telling this pony who she admires and looks up to, that she admires and looks up to him. She's telling him that he inspires her. That he encourages her to be the best yak she can be. And it's really heartwarming. It made me cry. And it's making me tear up again, just thinking about it. Because it developed Yona, in a way. It gave her this... It told us something that we kind of already knew, but it went further into it, with the idea that Yona kind of had some self-esteem issues coming into all of this. That she didn't feel like she fit in at first, but then she found all of these wonderful friends who helped her feel like she belonged. And now that she wanted to do that for Rockhoof as well, wanted to be there for him, for the pony who had begun to inspire her like that, that's beautiful. It was just, that was the turning point of the episode for me. And I know it came like pretty much right at the end, but still, it made this episode from just really great into phenomenal. Because it was, again, it was properly built up, too. It wasn't just something that came out of nowhere, or even something that had very little to go off of. It was very well built up over the entire episode, pretty much. But then let's talk about the other big thing. The suicide allegory. And some people might say that this is looking a little bit far into it, but let's take a look back at a episode previously in this season. There's the episode Surf and or Turf, which I'm not a huge fan of still. I still don't really like that episode. But there was one thing in it that really hit me as being very important and very much of a big deal. and that was the orphan allegory, or rather the divorce allegory, not orphan. Um, it was kind of not really. I wouldn't say implied. That's the wrong word. It was kind of hinted at that that Silverstream. Not Silverstream. Is it Silverstream? I don't know. The hippogriff kid. I can't think of his name right now. It's kind of hinted at that his parents are separated. Even though in the episode that ends up not fully being the case, and they're still on really good terms, and they're just living in different places, it kind of gives off an allegory of divorce, of separated parents. And I have divorced parents. My parents are divorced. I live with my father. My mother lives with my maternal grandmother. And so it's like, I know, even though this was after I became an adult that this happened for me, I still understand what it means to go through that. And it was, even if it's not like explicitly said in the episode, or even if it ends up not fully being the case, the allegory is still there. The idea is still there. And people who, especially kids who have gone through that kind of thing, will definitely see the obvious comparisons. And honestly, I think that this episode did the same kind of thing. Rockhoof wanting to be turned into stone forever. Like, Twilight was saying it was going to be temporary, but Rockhoof wanted to be turned into stone for good, because he felt that he just didn't belong in the world anymore. That's basically the equivalent of wanting to die. And this was a thought that was going through my head as I was watching the episode before he said that and all. Like, I hate to say that, but it was like, I've seen these kind of stories before, and it's like there are a lot of these characters who are going through this kind of situation. And in real life, a lot of people who go through situations like these often end up suicidal when they find that they're really, really not fitting in and not finding anything to be working. They end up becoming disillusioned with the world and becoming suicidal because of it. And even some of the best words from others have a hard time turning them around. And so, with all of this going against him, with all of these things he's been trying not working out, Rockhoof really started to get disillusioned with the Equestria he now lived in, and he didn't want to live in it anymore. That's the big thing. No matter how you choose to look at this, that is the truth. He didn't want to live in that world anymore. And he wanted to end his time there and be remembered for the past, for his past actions and stuff, by basically giving up his life in this world. Even if you think the entire allegory to suicide is a little stretching, you have to admit he would be giving up his life in the world. He would not technically be living in Equestria anymore. He would be a statue, completely stone. And I've talked about it on the channel before and everything, but I, at one point, was suicidal. I have clinical depression and a lot of anxiety problems, and there was a period of time where I was very suicidal, where I straight up attempted it on multiple occasions. And so I know what Rockhoof was going through here. I understand the pain he was feeling of not fitting in, of feeling like he was a complete outcast. Because I've felt those thoughts. I have had those thoughts. I've felt those feelings. I felt like a complete outcast. I felt like everything was against me and nothing was working out. To a degree, I still feel feelings like that. And again, during that period of my life when my depression was at its height, when I was suicidal, like, that was one of the biggest things. One of the biggest reasons that was causing it. And so, seeing that same kind of situation. Now, of course, I didn't go through the exact same kind of thing as this, but seeing a similar situation, seeing similar thoughts and fears and pains that he was going through, it really hit me. It really affected me. And there have been other episodes in this show that have affected me on a very personal level before, so it's not like the concept of this happening is anything new. But this one really affected. It's the same thing as when I played Doki Doki Literature Club on the old channel with the stream and everything. For those of you who were on the old channel and remember that, you remember when I had that complete emotional breakdown on stream because of Doki Doki Literature Club, because of that one moment in the game, and you guys know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. I had a complete emotional breakdown, and I actually believe I had to end the stream because I just couldn't continue playing for too much longer. I was just completely broken. And it was because of my past with suicide and everything. And now this is a different kind of situation in a way, because while that kind of topic's being brought up again, it's being handled in a much more, I guess, less abrasive way. It's much more relaxed, I guess, than with Doki Doki. But then again, with Doki Doki, it was like really extreme and sudden and everything. And with this, it was more handled in a realistic sense. I mean, outside of the ponies and everything, you know. You get what I'm saying, I'm sure. The point is, this episode was phenomenal. From its writing, its pacing, its characterizations, its messages. It was really just emotional and exceptionally handled. It's easily one of my favorites of this season. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of, I think it's called Between a Rock Hoof and a Hard Place. Tell me your thoughts on the episode. Tell me your thoughts on the suicide allegory, on Yona being just the best, and all so much more. Tell me your thoughts, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing.